jumping into the question and answer. We have a first question from Paul. It says Black Wrath, auto cocker or E trigger?
He noticed my paintball guns in the background.
I thought that was something talking about something totally different. So I'm like, whoa. Okay.
Hello.
Okay.
Well, the funny thing is, I have two paintball guns up at the back here. The black one that's to the left, maybe, I don't know, unless the screen is flipped, to the one I'm pointing at right now. That used to be an auto cocker. That was that's a really early paintball gun. I got converted into a pump. So I got into pump really early on, and then when I started playing paintball semi-professionally, we got sponsored by an old company called Angel, and that's the one on this side here. Can't really see it too well because it's kind of bokeh out, but yeah, both, I guess.
Both.
I got into both. I love autocockers. I love E-triggers. It's just I kind of love this. I loved I still do. I don't play it as much as I'd like to anymore. But I got into pretty much every style of paintball, from pump to autococker to just PSP, which is basically just how quick you can pull the trigger and how automatic fire can just.
Okay.
Because that thing can fire about 60 balls a second.
You are the most interesting man. Guy who likes to play paintball, works for an athletic company.
Mixologist.
You're a very interesting man, Black Wrath.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. I mean that in a good way. Obviously. I hope you know that.
I had a lot of hobbies and got in and out of it, but paintball was one of the big ones.
Did you say 60 paintballs a second?
60 balls a second, but
the fuck?
Usually it's capped off. Like, competitive play is usually capped off at a certain point.
60 paintballs a second.
Not that fast. No.
What?
It wouldn't realistically go that fast. The trigger can,
okay.
But the paint would just start chopping at that point. There's a part of the paintball gun that's called the hopper. The one that I used was the Rota. That was kind of like that's kind of like one that everybody used. It's just an automatic feed that just jams the paintballs down into the gun.
Okay.
So that way it shoots as fast as it can. But usually it's like 25, 30. It's
Still,
not nearly as fast.
That's a lot of fucking balls.
It has the capability of going that fast, but there's no way.
Oh my god.
That would hurt.
You need a very good feeder for that.
Ow!
60 welts a second,
Usually
motherfucker.
it's 25.
What happened to you, honey? I got hit by 30 paintballs in like 1 second.
All right, next question comes from Bearded Corvus. What game would you pick if you could have a game remade from the ground up and brought into the modern era?
Perfect Dark.
Ooh.
That's a good
Perfect
answer.
Dark is a very good answer. Now I got to think again.
Oh wow, you guys have the same answer.
Perfect Dark is an amazing game.
I love that game.
That game was like
dog shit out of that game.
That was the legit like step up from GoldenEye. Like GoldenEye was amazing for what it was, but once you stepped up to like Perfect Dark and the physics, like just seeing the bodies hit up against the wall.
I know my
and
answer.
having
the
blood spatter behind him
and do all kinds of different shit. Yeah.
The laptop gun was amazing. The aliens.
I had to think really hard for a second, but then now I know. And I know some of you guys probably don't know this, but I don't know if you guys played the X-Wing or TIE Fighter on PC in the 90s.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, dude. Can you imagine a modern version of those games?
Yeah, absolutely.
Or Rogue Squadron.
Rogue Squadron,
Rogue
yeah.
Squadron is what I
Even
was
Rogue
thinking
Squadron,
of.
which would be more arcadey because the X-Wing TIE Fighter were more flight sim. You got to hit a lot of buttons. But
basically Ace Combat, but Star Wars.
Yes, that would be.
Yeah.
I would love to see a modern version of that, man. I would kill. Yes, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, an old game.
Can I say
Revitalized.
How about a modern version Star Wars Battlefront? Like an actual modern version of the original Star Wars Battlefronts?
With a story mode and everything?
I'm pretty confident that if they were to release the same exact game, it wouldn't sell. Like, I have a feeling that game would come out and then everyone would go, wow, this is boring as fuck. Like, it was probably fun back then, but there's a reason they changed that, right? I'm not sure. Weenie said fucking Time Splitters. and that definitely struck a chord with me. I absolutely love time splitters. I don't have a better answer than that. One of the first things that came into my mind was do you guys ever play the multiplayer mode on Donkey Kong 64?
Yeah.
It was a third-person shooter, and it was fucking amazing. I would love an updated version of Donkey Kong 64. It's fucking great, man. And it was even better for me as a tiny little Jehovah's Witness boy, because like, Mom, look, it's monkeys, and we go and collect bananas, and we stomp on rhinos, and we defeat the bad guys. But really, we just went to multiplayer mode and shot each other with fruits and coconuts and shit. It was great.
Gamers for Life just brought up Pokemon Snap, the old N64 classic. Oh,
fair.
That was a fun game, man. Yeah,
Yes, it was.
I'd be down for a remake of that. That was fun.
I hated all the auto scroller shit.
I did too, but it was a fun game. Like that was a game like nowadays, with more modern shit, I would love to sit down with like a beer or whiskey and just be like, I'm just gonna take some pictures of Pokemon, man. Have a good time. Be fun.
I think about a lot of games from the old consoles, and I think to myself, I don't think I have the patience for this game anymore. There are certain games that I just don't want to play anymore because
without
I
a
don't have
doubt,
the fucking patience for that.
Without a doubt.
Jack and Dax or anybody?
I was struggling just watching you struggle through that game. I was like, that poor motherfucker.
Every time I saw you go online with that game thereafter, like the nth stream, I was just like, oh my god, he's still going at it.
Still going.
Yeah.
On my gravestone, it will read Ass Sucker and Jack 2 Dominator. That is if anybody loves me enough to give me gravestone.
I was thinking of one. I had like two on like my list until I just had an epiphany of one that I really enjoyed, and I don't know if this is classic enough, but it was on the PS2. The Getaway. I would love a modern version of The Getaway.
Heard a lot of great things about that game. Yeah,
it's an amazing game. The story's great. I mean, it was one of the first games that came out with like a cover mechanic that I remember that was also, I don't know if it was shortly it must have been shortly after GTA 3, because it was kind of open world as well, because you could jump into a car, drive, but it was realistic driving mechanics, kind of like what Driver used to be on the PlayStation. And the HUD was very minimal. You didn't get an ammo count. You didn't get anything. And when you're in a car and you needed to go for an objective, it used the blinkers to tell you which street you needed to go down. It would blink a little bit faster when you needed to make that right turn, or it would have the hazards on if you were right where you needed to be. But yeah, that game was amazing. That or Conker's Bad for a Day. But
what about Cox?
Conquer.
Bad for a Day.
Conquer.
That's
which
right.
they kind of redid, like they did like
they kind of did the
but it was
reloaded
not
one.
really.
It was not good.
It was not. Yeah, but I played the shit out of that original Conquer too. The
Yeah.
the multiplayer on Conquer was fucking awesome.
That'd be a lot of fun if they redid that properly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think
good.
Getaway would be my pick.
Cool.
Third question from Conbot. Been thinking about making an ultimatum for myself for streaming. If I don't get to this point, then I'm pumping the brakes on stuff. Is that a dumb idea?
If you're stressing yourself out, like if it's becoming a detriment to your life, then yeah. But I mean, there's always going to be struggles. I'm a perfect example. I used to stream before the kid came along. I streamed like 4 times a week. I never really kept a consistent schedule because I just can't. I'm a watcher. I will always be a watcher. And there's people out there like myself that I have no problem admitting that. I don't have the fucking time or the patience to put in the work any of these guys put in for streaming. I'd rather just watch other people do it.
I'll go last. Black Wrath.
So yeah, no, if it's kind of same touch on what Sam said, like if you can have an addictive tendency to anything. Like if you kept going at it and you find everything else is just getting like worse in your life and it's a detriment to everything, then take a break. But also it's a mindset thing. Like if you enjoy doing it, then keep doing it. And then if you grow an audience organically, then I think that's better. But again, I think I know somebody else said it in chat. I read it, but don't worry about the numbers. Don't worry about your viewer count. Don't even pay attention to it. Just flip the game on, flip the stream on, have your chat open, of course. And if some people show up, engage and see how it goes.
The ROI regarding looking at your viewer count when you are smaller is 0. When you get up there and you start generating some revenue and you got to start kind of strategizing, then there's a larger ROI. But when you're small, there's no reason. And by the way, small, according to Twitch, is average 30 viewers or less, I believe.
And mind you, I still have in like single digits, barely breaking double digit viewers. So like take that with a grain of salt, but I don't let it get me down. Like I still love doing this. I still like putting stuff out there and having some footage there. Like if something amazing happens, then I can clip it, throw it up somewhere else, and just have that saved. Like it's just, I just enjoy it. That's all. If you get hung up on certain things, then maybe you're just, I think you might just be focusing on the wrong aspect of streaming.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the best thing I could say would be, if you're not having fun, or if stuff that's not about the actual stream, or you can't concern yourself with numbers, I suppose, especially early on. I don't really know what, when you say things aren't going where you want them to go. I don't know what you really mean by that, in the sense that, like, or what the question, what was it? The question said exactly.
Been thinking about making an ultimatum from if I don't get to this point, then I'm pumping the brakes.
Like to what? Like what's the point? I guess that's what I don't really understand about the question. Is I assume you mean like a viewership level. I assume
that's what I assumed.
Okay. And honestly, I don't know what to tell you, because Twitch is a totally different place than when I started over 4 years ago, and I would love to tell you, just keep doing it. But if it's stressing you out, like Salty said, man, maybe you need to readjust the way you're viewing it. I'm not gonna lie and say that I don't get stressed sometimes about Twitch, but at the end of the day, I remind myself that I'm doing this because I enjoy playing video games and I like hanging out with other people, and I try not to let any of the numbers and that sort of stuff. And it's easy to say that. It's obviously another thing in practice, and it does take time to let your brain warp around the weird thing that is Twitch, because there really is nothing else truly like the world of video game and whatever else live streaming. I mean, there's nothing else like it, and that's one of the cool things about it. So if you feel like you need to take a step back, take a step back. And like I was saying on an earlier thing, should sometimes be introspective. If you got to be introspective, that can help you quite a bit. So that's all I got.
The one important thing that I just kind of thought of, which I don't think I've ever thought of before, is that if your point is a numerical metric, what you have to remember is that you reaching that metric can be completely random. It can have nothing to do with anything that you did. You could get a random host from a massive streamer and have great viewership for a little while, and then you might end up right back where you started because you weren't necessarily ready or experienced to be able to hold on to all those people. And then you're like, well, fuck, like I hit my personal goal, but I'm right back to where I started. So much of it, numbers wise, is out of your control. So I would try and stray away from setting hard goals of this number by this day or this goal by this day. Just work hard, always try to improve yourself. And then if a couple years down the road, you're like, shit, I'm dumping a lot of time into this and not really seeing any results, then revisit it then. But that takes years.
And that's if you're trying to make it something that's actually paying bills.
Right.
I mean, if you're going to approach streaming and you're looking at metrics that they give you, that every single person that's ever hit live is going to look at some point, and you have to think about those metrics in the same way you think about shit at a job. Like, did you put in the work? Did you come out with a good product? did people see it? I mean, a lot of times with streamers, it's because there's such a massive market now. People get buried. If you only have a couple, I mean, I would say that most people new to Twitch, especially younger people, they're not watching fucking anybody they don't know that's got, less than 1,000 viewers minimum. Like, there's gonna be a lot of
They're
grinding.
not engaging.
Yeah, because their
They're-
discovery on Twitch is fucking trash.
Yeah, they're relying too much on random people coming in rather than going out and seeking.
Well, and people aren't gonna sit through 15 fucking ads to watch Joe Schmo fucking streaming shotgun and beers in his basement. Like, they don't give a
Well,
fuck.
you bring up a great point, Salty, because I didn't even think about that. The barrier to entry for new streamers is even worse now because of the whole ad situation.
It is
because-
fucking terrible.
I can't imagine what it would have been like when I was starting out and I only had, less than a couple hundred followers, and people had to watch an ad when they came into my stream. Like, I just don't know how my stream would have grown if that. I guarantee it would have hurt viewership early on.
And they're still doing the raid ads too, right?
And yeah,
I think they fixed
I
that.
just
Did they fix
hate,
that?
I
I
just
haven't
hate the
seen any.
fact
I
that
still have a habit of just pausing to introduce myself if
Oh.
a raid comes through and like,
yeah, it's so
Should I?
terrible.
Or I'll wait.
I just don't get it. I mean, I am one of the only people probably on the face of the earth that primarily watches Twitch from their phone. I don't watch Twitch from my phone anymore unless it's somebody I subscribe to. And
Yeah, the
that's no
ads
offense to anybody, but I'm not sitting through fucking
I'm the
ads.
same way.
but I'm sure
yeah.
the ads.
I
made
block
a
everything
hinder.
on every other computer I own.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So-
I'm sure that made a huge impact from going from one stream to the other
It's
just to
terrible.
seek somebody. Now you
Yeah.
don't have those people venturing out anymore. They just they sit in one stream because they don't want to go watch those ads. That's a good point.
Yeah. And plus, like, I'll do shit where I still watched Grand Theft Auto RP. I don't give a fuck. There's always people online 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So when I'm working and it's 4 o'clock in the morning and there ain't shit left to watch on Twitch, I watch Grand Theft Auto RP. I am not sitting on the same channel in GTA RP. I'm not watching somebody sit in jail for 40 minutes, but I'm also not going to watch 15 fucking ads while I'm jumping from channel to channel to see if anything's going on.
Well,
So-
I'm looking at Combat posted, and he was the original poster of this question. So he mentioned in chat, I'm not necessarily going for money. I mostly just want people to feel entertained. And very commonly, I'm a try hard when it comes to trying to entertain. And then that's just going to come with practice. Because, man, that's one of the reasons I deleted most of my old VODs, because they are so cringy and that takes time. It just takes time. And I'm not saying that I'm not cringy now, but I'm far less cringy than I was 4 years ago. I know that, because I do watch my VODs and I do try and slowly improve over time. And, I mean, dude, if you really enjoy doing it, just keep working at it. And if it gets to a point where you feel like I can't do this anymore, I'm not having fun, then don't do it, I wish you all the best because I know you're a cool dude. So
Advice number one for not only you, but every streamer in here: create a Google form where people can anonymously submit feedback to your channel. And at the end of every single stream, say, hey, I'm constantly looking for feedback. Click on this link. Let me know what you think, good or bad. You would be amazed at what
How
people
often
will
are
tell
you
you.
getting responses per week? Like, how many new responses you get into that?
I wouldn't say it's weekly. What I will say is that since I've implemented that form, which I think is 1.5 years ago, I've gotten over 50 responses.
That's a lot.
A lot of great stuff.
That's a chunk.
Yeah. And even simple things that are oversights. Like somebody said, hey, I would recommend not having your Philips Hue flash during podcasts. It's kind of distracting when you guys are talking. And I said, that's a fucking great point. And I turned it off ever since then. And once I said that, a lot of people in chat were like, no, yeah, that was super distracting. But it's amazing. People won't say things. People will say things if they don't have to stand right next to their criticism, because not everybody can give constructive criticism because they don't want to hurt your feelings, and they don't want their name attached to it because they think something negative. It takes a very special kind of person to tell you what you are doing wrong to your face. Even the good friends who you think are giving it to you straight, it's difficult. So that's advice number 1. Advice number 2, I am so torn on this subject because I guarantee that there are a lot of people. If I were to tell people how long I've been doing this and where I kind of sit on the scale of success, people would be like, you're still doing that? You still spend that much time? And then there's other people that not really think that way. To me, I think that, and this is just like a super kind of like macro thinking, if you don't give it a shot for at least 3 years, if you don't dedicate 3 years to at least trying, I don't think you can complain. If you try it for like 6 months or a year and you don't see the results and you quit, you're kind of a quitter. That's my personal opinion. That is not necessarily a fact, but in this space, this particular skill set that is required to do what we all do, it takes a shit ton of practice for somebody that doesn't have the talent from the get-go. Somebody like me that was terrible, had so much to learn about every aspect of streaming. I have learned so much over the past 6 years of doing this, and I still don't think I'm that great. I think I do a lot of things well, but the market doesn't care about you and your personal problems and what you think you're good or bad at. If you are good enough, the numbers will come. And if you're good enough, the market will speak for you. And that's kind of a hard pill to swallow for a lot of people. So what I will say is, me being somebody who is about to celebrate their 6-year anniversary on Twitch, do I sometimes get a little self-conscious about being where I'm at? Yes, but that is because I set unrealistic metric goals for myself. Like, if I'm not at this part at this time, I'm probably going to call it. I've done that a lot, and it's always been a mistake to do so. What I will say is that these past 2 years, when I have let go of all of those type of thoughts, I have had the most fun. Realizing that my day job pays my bills and that this, while I take it very seriously, is still very much a hobby. But with that said, you are not going to grow in this space without sacrifice. You are not going to live the streamer dream of playing whatever you want and the viewers are just going to come to you and everything's going to be fun and you're never going to worry about numbers. That does not exist. If you want to see growth, if you want to succeed, you are going to have to sacrifice. You are going to have to work your ass off. You are going to have to really fucking dive into it and learn everything about it. You're going to have to spend 3 hours a week downloading VODs, editing clips, uploading them to different social media. You're going to have to learn how all of these different social media platforms work. You're not going to be able to just go live, stream some video games and turn off and then have a successful stream. It is going to take a shit ton of learning, a shit ton of work. You're going to eat shit for a super long time and there's going to be sacrifices. You're going to have disgruntled friends, you're going to have disgruntled parents, significant others. But if you have fun and you love it and you're able to get past that initial kind of knee-jerk reaction of thinking about numbers and viewers, it can be a really, really rewarding hobby. And it's so much about perspective. And I can say with confidence that it took me years and years and years and years to not only look at it the right way, but to be good, like to be a good streamer. And I still think to this day that I have a shit ton to learn. And I have a lot of growing to do. But if you're willing to put in the work and sacrifice, you'll see something. But it's all about like, what's your end game? Do you want it to be a hobby? Do you want to be the next Summit? Because there's big differences in expectations when you look at it that way.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ditto.
Next question.
Yeah.
All right. Next question from Mr. Vansman. Are you a competitive person? Could be anything: gaming, sports, work. Do you have any examples?
I'm gonna take that question. I'm gonna go to the bathroom while you guys answer that. I'll be right back.
Go for it.
I am and I'm not. Like, I like to compete with people, but I don't give a fuck if I win or not. Like, competition's always a good driver to get shit done or try to be better at something, but
Right.
I don't really give a fuck about winning.
How about you, Jimbo?
I don't really. I don't really give a shit about winning either.
Except
That's
Street
much.
Fighter.
Except Street Fighter.
and I believe a lossless season of soccer coaching as well.
Oh, well, that would be nice, but that'd be difficult. But the truth is, there's more to life than winning and losing. And you learn a whole lot about yourself when you lose. So, someone who doesn't lose anything, they go through. It's unrealistic to go through life without taking L's. You got to learn. Yeah.
You just kind of brought up a point that I'm unfortunately going to have to go back a step into the last part. There are so many amazing parts of streaming, and there are so many rewards that are streaming involved. The memories that I've made, the friendships that I've made, the things that I have learned, just the connections, the conversations that I've been able to have. Like, I think about all of the 1v1s that I've had on this podcast with people that I never would have had a chance to talk to or never would have initiated a conversation with. I think about all the fantastic things that we've all talked about on this podcast. If you can look at it from that way too, like, not just the am I having fun aspect, but are there other parts of my life that are benefiting from me spending my time? Like, when I think about streaming as a whole, I think about the fulfillment and how I'm able to better myself as a person by talking about these issues with people that I respect, the friendships that I make, through Twitch, the things that I learn. Those are all extremely valuable things to me in my life. So if you look at it from that perspective as well, not just the if you're having fun kind of thing, I think that ties into it too. I think that's important. As far as being competitive, there's always a part of me that wants to stop streaming all video games except for a shooter or Rocket League or anything. So there's a part of me that wants to be really good at a game. I don't know if that means I'm competitive or I just want to be better. I don't really know what that kind of spins back to, but I think I have competitive nature, but I don't think I am a competitive person to the part where, like, I'm no longer fun at parties because I'm foaming at the mouth when Mario Kart comes out. I do enjoy winning, but kind of like Jimmy said, it's not always about winning and losing, right?
Unless it's beer pong.
I will fuck ass over some beer pong. I do get okay. You just brought up a great point. I get pretty serious about beer pong. I make people angry with how much I bounce in beer pong, and bouncing, depending on what college you went to, is seen as a skill or it's seen as a cop out. But I do get down on some beer pong
on a full 8-foot table. It is, if you can get it in off a bounce, you earn that fucking win.
And not a kitchen island. And not on a kitchen island.
Yes, that too. That was difficult.
That was pretty hard.
What about you, Black Wrath? You a competitive person?
Screw you all. I'm very, very competitive. Winning's everything. And no, I am competitive. I mean, I competed. I ran competitively. I played a number of sports, although I was terrible at 99% of them, and that's why I stuck to running. It's just like what you put into it, you get out of it. Like that was that I excelled more in that, I guess, is just putting in the work rather than being able to put a ball in a basket or ball into a mitt. But no, like I play Rainbow Six Siege a lot, and Howie's in chat now. I play a lot with him as well. Like we don't play to lose. Like we love the competitive aspect. I know I can say for myself, like if we lose, I don't take it too personally. Like I don't like rage. Like I might scream at something, like just for the entertainment sake, or just like the shock value. Like I'm just like like enamored by like what happened, but I'm not gonna get mad at a game. Like there's no reason to get mad at at a competitive thing. Like I take the L's for take them for as a learning point. Like I played a lot of poker as well. I played Texas Hold'em at the casinos. I love the round table, 10 hand, 9 hand. And anytime I lose money or anytime I lose at a game, it's a learning moment. Like, what did I do wrong? What could I have done better? And that's how I try to get better at these games. Like if there was a certain strategy that we didn't get right, or if I was holding an angle wrong, or if I just didn't push on somebody when I should have been aggressive, then I'll take those notes. But I take a competitiveness to a certain extent.
The only other thing I can remember being extremely competitive in is high school badminton. I got angry playing that game, but goddamn, do I love me some badminton, man. It's a great fucking game. You just whip that thing as hard as you can. It goes like 3 feet. Good time. All right, last question, and then we got to wrap this show up. From Rock Lobster. As far as living with a girl and both loving games and streaming, how do you split time, and is this hanging out for you guys? I think I'm the only one that can answer that.
Directed to Knackers.
Yeah, it's only directed at you, man.
And middle-aged.
No, my wife's not. She's not.
Or she's not into it.
Yeah, she's not really into. I mean,
that's
on her
mostly
phone
Knackers.
and shit, but not like.
Yeah, that's not gaming.
Same.
Mobile gamers aren't gamers.
Yeah, I guess.
We need. Feel free to respond to that from your side if you want. I'm gonna hide chat so I don't see what she says, and so I'm not emotionally moved to answer in an dishonest way. Streaming makes playing video games off camera difficult, at least for me. It's not for everybody. It's difficult to play games off stream when you have a full-time job, a significant other, house to take care of, pets, and outside of streaming, it's pretty difficult. Gaming is still a hangout for us. I try to not make us streaming together like the most time that we spend. You know, it's definitely like a supplementary activity for us when it comes to spending time together. I feel like if that was like the majority of our time, it probably put some tension on things. Right now, we stream on opposite days, Monday through Thursday. So we kind of see each other for like an hour or two, Monday through Thursday, between both of us working or streaming. Friday is kind of our day to hang out, which is why party night streams rarely happen, because we both get home on Fridays and we're like, okay, well, none of us really feel like booting up a stream. Let's just hang out. I feel like you have to have an extremely understanding significant other if they're not involved in video games and streaming. Like I said, when it comes to sacrifice, you have to have a very specific lifestyle to be able to maintain a job, a family, and streaming all at the same time. It takes a very unique style of life. Hold on, let me look back to this question. How do you split time? Is it hanging out for you guys? We used to stream on the same days. And then I know that's not a thing for you because you guys both stream, on the same channel. We've been at it for 2 years now, and we each have our own time. I think we respect each other's stream, and we do we're so different because you guys stream together a lot, and then Weenie and I only stream together like, once a week, if that. But gaming off stream is still very much a hangout. When we do our party nights, I kind of see that as I'm kind of not being my normal entertaining self. I'm really kind of reserving myself and choosing to spend more time focusing on my girlfriend than I am on chat and maybe accentuating certain situations and stuff. I definitely am less of a streamer when we're doing party nights because I want to play video games with my girl, but I'm also broadcasting because I want to provide entertainment. So it's good because when we stream together, it's more of a relaxed, chill stream than it is like, okay, I need to be on and entertaining and funny and sharp for all these hours. It's definitely a more of a time for me to be able to hang out and spend some time with her than it is the object is to provide entertainment kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.